Awesome. So it is 7:02, and we want to say welcome to everyone that have joined today's meeting. I'm seeing Grace Ann, Mr. Charles, and Tony. Tony, thank you for joining.
Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Tony, thank you so much for joining the conversation 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you, your input, has stirred up some more conversations with the RCMP.
Good. It's good to hear.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So as much as possible, when we are doing this meeting, I try to go straight to the point and get the meeting going. And Mr. Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'll be
Awesome.
on mute. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, so we will start with a 1-minute prayer. We pray for wisdom. We pray for understanding. We pray that our deliberations today will yield lots of results. There will be lots of unity together in our group, and all the things we are doing will benefit our community as a whole. And we pray that we stay united and together. We just close our eyes for 1 minute and just pray. Anyhow, you know how to pray, you just go ahead and pray. May God answer our prayers. Amen. Thank you so much, everyone that have joined this meeting on time. We truly appreciate it, that when we have meetings, we are able to log in on time and start the meeting and go straight to the point, so that we know it's a weekend, and we try as much as possible not to take so much of our time. So on today's call, we have our board members on the call. If they don't mind putting up their pictures and introducing themselves, so that other people will know that they are here. Thank you. Please, anyone can go ahead so that we start. Please, we go ahead if you want to introduce, so that other people would know. And we're going to send out this recording later, so everybody knows the board members that were here, because this is a board and members meeting.
Okay, I will go. My name is Ahmad Sani, and I'm the vice president of the association and member of the board. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This is Charles Chuma, board member and also event coordinator.
Thank you, sir.
I'll pass on to Gracianne.
Grace Ann, please, can you go ahead so that we'll move fast? Mr. Severin.
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Okay.
My name is Grayson, treasurer.
Thank you. Ale Severin.
Okay, I'm Severin Kwadjo Senze. I'm a board member too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Just to make everyone know the board members that are here. And so we will go straight to the point. According to the agenda we had posted, we will try and make sure that this board and members meeting, we have it every quarter to make sure that we are following the rules. We have a board group where we post things, so it helps us communicate and get things approved, but we'll try and have this meeting at least once a quarter. So thank you very much. So we'll go straight to the first things, beginning of the year event. In the board, we had brought this up on the board, and we had lots of people say because of COVID, we should have it online. That is January 2nd meeting to have it online. And why some people said, oh, you know, the holiday is long, some people get bored, it gets depressing, if we should have this meeting in person. You know, for me, I think having an in-person meeting, it's a lot of work to organize, and COVID-19 has added an extra layer to the work that is required to do this event. You know, and it's not something, because it's a lot of work because of the publicity that goes in, and organizing, getting people to sign up. And when you now add, you have to be checking people online. But I wanted an opportunity where community members, if they are interested in that topic, they come on and say, yes, we are interested in it, and we want to be a part of it. So I don't know who else has something to say about end of the year events. Either you want it in person or online. Please, let's hear from you.
So given the current state of things with COVID-19, I think it's prudent to have it online.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, good. Tony, any other person have something to say?
Grayson here. So I think because of the current situation and all that we are facing, it's more safer to have it online, because, you know, if we have that, then kids and everyone will be, you know, gathering together, and we don't want to be in any trouble with the authorities, right? Not being able to fully prove that we are following all the precautions. So online is ideal.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Anybody have an input to make?
I support online as well. I agree with the previous speakers.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So we are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 8 of us on this call now, and do we all agree that this January 2nd meeting should just be online? By raise of hand, we want to, if you are in agreement that it should all be online, please can you do so by a raise of hand?
Online supported. ID.
Okay, thank you very much. Awesome. I'm taking a clip of this at this time that everybody has agreed that it's going to be online. Thank you very much. So that we're going to tell our members, if there was anybody that was interested in having a meeting in person, if they didn't show up today, then that's it. We're going to have it online. Thank you very much for that. So we've done so on January 2nd. We're going to set up a Zoom call and tell everybody, bring your drinks and your family, and everybody will have, we'll try to have music, or you can have your music in the house. We'll watch you dance. Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. So we go to the next thing, which is our Youth Resource Center. So we applied for a grant. It is called the Supporting Black Canadian Communities Grant. We applied for the grant last year. Initially, we were told we were not successful, but lots of communities that applied for that grant all over Canada, they complained and they now approved the grant. And the grant is for 39,000. And we have a supporting amount that we are supposed to give in terms of our time to set up the Youth Resource Center. So we have 39,000 that were given to us by the federal government, and that 39,000 is strictly for us to buy equipment and furniture for the Youth Resource Center. And so what we did is we partnered with the Senaba Further Education and Professor Bukola Salami. She helped us to write the grant. So we partnered with them. And so we are in the process of setting up the Youth Resource Center. So, and that this project is in different stages. So we try as much as possible to ensure that we get value for that money to the association. That is our paramount thing. But at the same time, we also try to look out for in our community, if there are people that you have connections to get us computers at the cheaper rate. So we posted in our group, posted on Facebook to give everyone an opportunity. We didn't hear any, what they call it, tender from anyone. And so we went ahead with the connections that we had that ensured that we get the best price that we can get here in Alberta. The people that are supplying us this laptops are people that supply the schools, and they have direct dealership with what's this computer company that we are going to be using. So as we speak now, we have procured the 16 laptops for our association, and we have people that have volunteered their time to help us. We have Trevor Tai. He works with the Senaba Public Library in their IT services. So he's volunteering for our association. He's the one that helps us update our website, update our YouTube channel. So he is currently uploading the laptops with the programs that we will use for the Youth Resource Center. And so that's the stage we're in. And the next stage that we're going into is the stage of developing what this program would be like for our children. You know, when would this schedule be like? You know, we've had people that have done something similar where they say it's not good for us to have 1 a day training every week, because that means during summer, we are all going to be tied down trying to do this training for our children. So some of them are advising, you know what, do it. If it's during summer, you do it like a summer program, Monday to Friday, maybe 2 weeks and be done. You know, so those are the things we'll be exploring. And we're also talking with Dr. Bukola Salami to see how we can get some grant funding for the training, because as an association, we don't have funding for that particular thing to get specialist trainers. So that's also what we are doing, to try to get a specialist that would train our children on, because we're going to get we have a 3D printer, we're going to get robotics, we're going to get different programs that we try to increase the knowledge that our kids have, and at the same time mentor them. So that's something that we're currently doing with regards to the Youth Resource Center. And part of that project is for us to have more partnership. And so we've added a partnership with the Senaba Public Library. The library, they are so excited to be a part of our Youth Resource Center, in that if we are already going to set up something, and they will be, if they want to use the resources or learn from us how we're doing our Youth Resource Center. You know, so that's basically where we're at with the Youth Resource Center. We have people, members of the board here that are in that group with the implementation group for the Youth Resource Center in St. Albert. So, so just like I said, the next stage is for us to, 1, get a grant for the specialist trainer, and 2, to develop the curriculum and schedule for that Youth Resource Center. So I don't know, is there anybody that have questions or have anything to add to that?
I'd just like to say that all of it sounds like amazing. I've known about this this group for maybe a year or so, but I haven't really been to or been like in tune with it. I just recently had a daughter, and so now that's making me realize that I need to connect more with community. So seeing all the things that you guys are planning and have in the works it's really, really good to see. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Because I was really wondering, because I met you at Walmart like
Yes, yeah.
yes, like a year ago. And I
Mhm.
remember getting your number, and I was really surprised when you reach out on Facebook. I was like, oh, don't you reach out? Now I know the reason. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Does anybody have any other thing to add to the Youth Resource Center? You have a question. And Tony, if you anybody that want to join the implementation group, you might have something to add to it. We're going to post the group on the general group to allow everybody, if you want to be a part of that implementation group, we're going to put it out there. If anybody wants to join, please. So if anybody has a question, please go ahead and ask.
I just wanted to say welcome, Tony, to the group, and thanks for getting involved.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So if we don't have any other inputs to that particular item, the Youth Center update, we'll go to the next item on our list, which is the Black History Month event and activities. Just to let us know, for those that are new, one of our very important events that we do in our association is the Black History Month event. And just to brief us about the group, our objectives are three. One is to project African culture and history to St. Albert residents through events, and to preserve those cultures in our community for our children. That's one of it. The second objective is for us to support each other. You understand? That's why you see us when we see jobs and things like that, we post it to the group. And the third one is to ensure that we are volunteering. And it's good that we're all here. What so many people think about us sometimes is like that we really volunteer. That's what they think. That most immigrants, when they come, they're just concentrating on getting their jobs, their family, and that's it. And we know very well that most of us, when we volunteer, is mainly in our churches and maybe mosque and things like that. So that's how we volunteer. So we want to increase our volunteering in our community, in other things, not just in what we are familiar with. So those are our three core objectives of our association. So now the Taste of Africa Black History Month is one of the times where we are trying to ride on a popular thing that is already being done. Black History Month is something that is already being done in Canada. So we are riding on the publicity of Black History Month to have events around it, talk about Black History Month. And so we started the first one last year. And the first one we had last year, just before COVID hit. So we had partnership with the St. Albert Library, and the library had an event where they talked about Amber Valley. If you've not heard about Amber Valley, like the people that, the first settlers, African settlers that came from the US through the Underground Rail, we had an event to the public library. The library had Black history books on display in the library. We had partnership with the museum. The museum took stories of people of African descent in our community that have been here for years. We had people that have been in St. Albert for over 30 years of African descent. So they had their stories in the museum. So we did that, and after the library, the museum, and we now had what we call the celebration, which was a taste of Africa and the Caribbean. Although just to make it, not to make it a mouthful, we just call it Taste of Africa, but it's a taste of Africa with food from Africa and the Caribbean. Because that's the reason for the African descent. So we have different people. The Caribbeans, they're from the Caribbean, but they're all of African descent. So we have this big celebration called the Taste of Africa, which is a variety show. And last year's own was the first, and we had it in the Arden Theater, because the Arden Theater is the cheapest venue that we could have in St. Albert. And that venue also allows us to bring food. most of the venues we have in Sanaa, big venues, they're very expensive, like the Enjoy Center, the Kingsman's banquet hall. They're all very expensive, and we're not allowed to bring food. But in the Arden Theater, we're allowed to bring food. They already have the facility. You understand that we could showcase our culture. So this variety show starts with our African dance by our children. So we give our children opportunity to dance and to sing, you know, do fashion parade, and we bring some of this African arts here into St. Albert. So, and it's an event that people love so much. We did it last year, and this year we did it online, and people were engaged for 2 hours. And by the time we're done, they were like, oh my goodness, we want to come in person. So people are looking forward to it. And because people are looking forward to it, we have to always be excellent. You know, when we are starting the event, if the event, we say the event is starting by 4 p.m., we start by 4 p.m. and it ends by 6 p.m. And we're so thankful for members of our community that help us. So the different aspect of this event is there's the food aspect, and there is the fashion parade aspect, and there's the programming of the event, because it's a variety show, because we have the dancing, the drumming, the storytelling, the fashion parade, the armchair travel, and then we have a big end energy dance, and we now go for food tasting. You know, so that's what it is. And another thing, the reason we use Arden Theater is that in case we don't have enough funds from the sale of the ticket or from everything, we are able to get a community events grant. So it's more or less like getting a grant of 5,000. That grant is from the city, and the money more or less goes back to the city, because we're using the Arden Theater is the city's facility. You understand? So that way the money comes and it goes back into them. So if we keep the cost of the event, the ticket is always $10. It's very, they said if it's very cheap, we are able to call that event a community event grant if it is within $10. And I've spoken with the Arden Theater. They said for them to be able to manage the entrance of that event, they have to be the ones selling the tickets. The reason is that when we did it last year, we sold the tickets to Eventbrite. We sold it to Eventbrite. And when we sold that ticket, just excuse me, sorry. So we sold the tickets ourselves, but we found out that the ticket was on my phone. The Eventbrite was on my phone. I was involved in cooking. I was involved in fashion parade, packing things. And at the end, they're looking for how to log people in. It was a problem. So they now said, and with COVID now, they have to be the ones to sell that ticket, so that they monitor who is coming into the hall, make sure the people have COVID test, and they are following all the COVID protocols. So they have to sell it. And they've told us that if they're selling it, it's either we are going to pay the charges. The charges is like extra $2 of the ticket. I remember that when we did it last year, each person buying the ticket paid for that extra $2 charge. So we've told them that anybody buying the tickets will pay for the charge. Yeah, so those are just a little bit about Black History Month that we're going to start now. And we're going to be sharing the groups, the link to each group, the food group, the fashion parade group, the programming group. We're going to share it to the general group. So anyone that is interested in being a part of it can join the group, and we will start, you know, the Black History Month activities. And there's something very, very interesting that KB brought up to the technical group for this Black History Month. I would like to give him an opportunity before we ask everybody if you have anything to add to the Black History Month activity and fashion. Sorry, before we continue, there were 3 reviews that we got from 3 things that we need to sort out for the food portion. One of the review is that most of our food did not have so much vegetables. for the food. So we're going to make sure that the food we're going to bring, we're going to have something that has vegetable in it, even if it's a soup or just whatever, we're going to have vegetable. Another one, it was that most of our food did not have protein. You know, yes, we knew that somebody donated food from jerk chicken. The jerk chicken was not enough. It was so small that you couldn't have a good taste of the jerk chicken. And another person I know, Jermaine, talked about that. She had one of the reviews she got is that the food was too small. And we knew that there's so many people that had food and the food was not enough and it didn't go around. So those are the things we'll be watching out for, that if we're bringing out 10 food samples or 10, 15 food samples, we make sure that the food is enough for somebody to have a taste of the food. At least if it's a rice in a cup, at least you should have up to 2-3 spoons of that rice for somebody to have a good taste of it. So before we go to Cabello, does anybody have anything you want to say regarding Taste of Africa, our partnership, the food, fashion, and programming? If you have anything, the floor is yours at this time. Taste of Africa, go ahead, please. Does anybody have anything to say concerning the Taste of Africa programming, partnership with the library, partnership with the museum, food, the fashion, the program, everything? Because we will start to, we'll be talking with different people, you know, that are going to be coming. If you have any information, anything you want to say to me, please, the floor is yours at this time.
I think for food. Oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
Mr. Nat. Go ahead.
I have a quick question, and this is in relation to the food.
Yes,
and
sir.
I remember that when we were going to do the first one, we had a lot of discussion, and one of the discussions at that time was about maybe we charge a nominal fee so that we can make enough food. I don't know whether, based on the feedback that you have, are we looking at something like that? I think then we were talking like, say, okay, $5 or something, so that the food can be enough. But at that time, what we were talking about was that it was meant to be a taste, right? And
Yes,
since it was a taste, the taste was just supposed to be something to fill. But based on what you have said now about one of the feedback, if we're looking at increasing the quantity of the food, are we able to also look at whether we can charge nominally and see whether we can, so that we can give enough? Because I agree, although it should be said that with the way that it was done, when you get one batch, you had lots of things in it. By the time you finish all of that, you probably will be filled already.
Yes,
But,
sir.
so it's just a question. That's my question.
Thank you, sir.
There's something we can look at.
What I was gonna add, I think from last year, one of the limiting factors is the event itself. I think for it to be a community event, I think it has a maximum charge of $10. Correct me if I'm wrong, Helen, but I think that's what it is. So last year, I remember we discussed it, but we couldn't charge more because of that. So I think we have to figure out a way. It's either, if there's a way we can maybe improve the quality of the food, or put some money towards specific foods, for example, whether it's vegetarian or protein, because we know we're going to get a lot of maybe more starches and stuff like that. But I think the only thing that was lacking for me was just the meats. There was not a lot of meat. So if we can even donate find somebody to cook or do something along those lines, and have extra meat.
Yeah, so having extra meat, because meat is always very expensive. So I think what we would do, I know Mr. Ahmad also has those connections where ahead of time we will maybe buy a cow so that the beef will have a lot, whatever thing that we can do with beef, either vegetable, like have vegetable and kale in like in what we call soup. You know, different people have different soup, you know, to have meats inside it, either to have that beef direct from a farmer, for us to have a beef to make like either stewed beef, beef to make vegetable soup, because beef is something that is always very expensive. Beef,
Mhm.
fish, and chicken. Those are things that are very, very expensive. And so for you to have that in a large quantity for an event, I think the association will have to increase the money or get someone to say, you know what, this is what we have, this is the quantity we need, and get somebody to get us that. Instead of, yes, our community people can bring some of their native dishes, we'll give them money for that, but it puts money to have protein and vegetable food inside the event. Then talking about the cost, it will also be hard for us to manage that. You know, if you have a place people are passing on to, you do having somebody give money, unless what we would do is that by the time people have finished going round, you know, and somebody says, you know what, I want to have an extra, you could say yes, by donation. You understand? We can say by donation. If we say, because I found out that last year we had so much of fried jollof rice, we had so much of moi moi remaining, we had so much of meat, the suya, and the fried plantain. And at the end, yes, most of us, we shared it amongst ourselves and took it home. But if we now say is that if you want to have more of this, we can have disposable plates, and say when everyone has gone the first round of going round, and people say, if you want an extra by donation, we could now have plates. You go around, take the food, and pay a certain amount by donation to have a full meal. Because what we're trying to tell people, I'm sure most of the reviews about the food being small is like, as our own people that believe that this is like a party. While for the white people that we're trying to teach our culture, that's enough sample for them to taste of the food, because some of them will not want, you know, there's some of them might be too spicy, you know, it has a strong taste, they just want this little taste. But our own people will believe that I'm coming for a party, I should eat a lot of food, right? So it's different people with the different thing, and it's a good idea for us to have that maybe at the end to say, if you want to have more of this a particular food or something, then at the end of when everybody has gone round, you can now come back in. And also, if you remember last year, we had a big challenge because the progress hall, which is the food tasting area, is very small. So there was like a huge lineup of people. So what we're planning to do is we'll start with the politicians in our group, go in and take your food, then we'll now do row by row. So we don't have a long line of people standing, and we're going to make sure that the food moves very fast. And the Arden Theater, they're also we're going to be working with them. They said they have to be aware where people come in and just go out, come in just straight line, so that we don't have people gathering in the space. And I'm also thinking we should have those pizza boxes again instead of plates. We should have pizza boxes where people put their food in a pizza box. You know, you put your food, if you just take your food in the pizza box, you can cover it and take it home, or because there will be no space to gather around. I'm still going, we're still going to meet with the city people that manage the facility, if they will allow people to walk in the city hall. I don't know if we know the city hall. Does everybody know the city hall? The Arden Theater is a space on its own. The Arden Theater space is different from the city hall space. So the city hall is not allowing big crowds in the city hall. That's a hallway. So I'm going to be talking with them to see if they will rent out that space so that people can walk through. The Arden Theater, they don't have control over that space. So we're going to be walking through to see how, if people, you pick your food box and you think, you know what, I want to come back and have an extra helping. We said, yes, by donation, You know, you can donate and you could have an extra plate of, if there's a rice dish or anything that is remaining, we could do that.
So I have a question, Helen. Sorry to cut you off there. With the other theater, is there room then to are people allowed to eat inside the theater, or it has
No,
to be outside?
it has to
So
be outside.
so if the city hall doesn't allow people to eat in there and we're doing the event, assuming we're doing the event, this is just an assumption for now that we're going to be doing the event in person, and the food is available there, so where are people going to eat?
So it's more or less like, just like we did the drive-through. We did a drive-through, you pick your food and go. So immediately after the event, you just take your food. So they said they're going to make it like a line where, because you know the Arden Theater has another road for people to go out from the back. So you come out from the Arden Theater, you enter Progress Hall. Progress Hall has 2 doors. You understand? You come in, you can go out through the front door, or you can go out through the back door, because you're trying to avoid lots of people gather, like being together. But what
Okay.
I'm planning to do is to see how I could talk to the city facility to say, are they able to allow people to, as you come in, you take your food, you go out back into the hallway.
Okay.
You know, because the city has a very big hallway, but that hallway is not controlled by the Arden. The Arden is not going to control it, and so the insurance that we are getting only covers us within the Arden Theater.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. So I think we also need to plan for the online event as well. Should the COVID situation get worse, we have to have that as a backup as well.
Yes.
Just like we did last year.
Yes.
Like this year, yeah.
Yes, that what you're saying is very, very true. I've started talking with Kelly of Production World. I'm talking with Kelly, and the thing, what I'm talking to Kelly about, I'm telling him that we are going to be using
Arden
him
Theater.
as our recording and streaming, because the Arden Theater only has 1 camera, and so they said if they are streaming, they can only stream from one direction. And I told them that it should not be a good streaming where only so you can only watch from one direction. But if we have production wall should be able to we can rent from them 2 or 3 cameras where they set up, and they're able to record from stream from there. They will be a lot better for everyone.
So I guess we can talk about this maybe offline. Maybe we just continue with the program here. But in terms of pricing from recording from World Production compared to recording from Arden Theater, the cost comparison, and see what it is.
Yes. So the Arden Theater has not given me their whole, the main cost they've given me is just the cost of using the hall and the ticketing. I think it's about like for not-for-profits in Tana, but it's about, by the time we add up, it should be close to like 4,000 or so. And they said they're going to record, but it's going to just be 1 camera recording. But I'm started talking with Kelly to see, telling Kelly that we're not for profit. This is just a community event to see how much they could do for us in the Arden. So I think we'll continue this conversation more with them and see how much we know, how much we're going for, you know.
Okay.
So, and in terms of how much funding we have, currently we say we have 7,000 from our heritage grant that was given to us, and we're hopeful we might have more. If not, we have 7,000, and we hope to sell maybe 400 tickets. I know the Arden Theater takes 500 people, but we're looking at maybe selling 400 tickets, and our volunteers should be able to have free tickets. We want to make sure our volunteers have free tickets, so we save like 450 or so. So that's what we'll be looking at least selling 400 tickets, 400 people being in the hall. For this
Okay,
weekend.
sorry. Hi, this is Abby. Sorry, I came in late for the meeting.
Thank you.
So for the one in the Arden Theater, if we're going with it, I'm not sure we'll be able to even fill up a capacity of 450 because of social distancing, even though I know we're likely going to be doing the COVID exemption with QR code and everything. But I think there's still a requirement for, I don't know, are we able to still sit all side by side?
That's something, and I think
Very
that's
good.
something, yeah, that's something I'm going to be asking the Arden Theater, right, to say what's the capacity. I think that's something I will ask them, is that what is the capacity of the hall, so that would determine how many tickets we're going to be selling. Yeah, so we will tell them, and we'll have to start ahead of time to know how many people are volunteering for us to have tickets for volunteers. So all that.
Yeah, it's not just about the capacity. What I'm saying is that in distancing, if you have to leave space between households. So say I come with my family and we're 4, we can definitely sit all together. But if the next family is, sitting, are they able to sit on the next seat to us, or do we have to leave 1 or 2 seats gap before, so that will reduce how much we can. I don't know if you get my question.
Yes, I get your question, and that question is only Arden Theater that can respond to that. So I will ask them what is the seating arrangement, because I'm seeing the Arden Theater, they're actually doing the Children's Festival event, and I'm not hearing any restrictions in terms of numbers. So that's something that I will, because in the Arden Theater, they're still doing the restriction exemption program, and people are still wearing masks. You understand? So people are still wearing masks. So all that is they are the ones handling it, right? So I will just find out from them how many tickets are we allowed to sell.
Okay, as at now, yeah.
Yes.
With the Omicron and everything, we don't know what is changing.
Exactly. So we'll find out from them how many tickets are they going to sell, because they are the ones that are going to handle all that part. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Getting the number of people, the scanning people into the hall, everything about that. They are the ones that are going to handle it. And it was part of the reviews they did for us last year, that our handling the ticketing was a big problem.
Okay.
You understand?
Oh, I see.
It was a big problem for them that they can't allow that to happen again. They will handle the process, and I'm like, that's fine. All we're going to do, we're just going to make sure that we increase the publicity. You understand? Push the publicity as much as we can.
But we're paying a service charge for that, right?
The service charge for the service charge is going to be borne by each person buying the ticket.
So the tickets are going to be more expensive?
It's just going to be $12. If the ticket is $10, the $10 is supposed to go to our association as part of the thing, while their extra charge is $2. So 10% for something and 10%. And there'll be some other fees that they have lots of fees when you're programming, the cost of the rental. But that fee of extra $2 was something we ended up paying last year.
Oh, I see.
Plus the tax as well, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we paid tax.
Yes, we paid all those. We paid all that.
So we're not going to be paying tax on the 2% anymore, on the $12. Is that it?
I think all that is just included in the 12. They are, you know what they are. So anybody that is buying the tickets will buy and pay the fee to them, because it's something they do, right? That this is something they do. They always have things.
Okay.
Understand? They always
have.
Sounds
good. Yeah.
Yeah, they always have. So we'll get back. So that's what I'm saying. All the people that are in each of this group, both the implementation, the technical crew that is doing the programming, you understand, will be in a group, so that we will not bug the whole association with this. The fashion design, fashion group. Abby, you handled the fashion group last time. I don't know if you want to still handle that this time.
Yeah, it's okay. If you want to handle something else, I can do that as well.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you. So that the fashion group, then we'll have the food. Bemi is on the line. Bemi, will you handle the food group? The food group, you understand? So the food group people that will handle that food group. to know what is coming this time around. So I think that is basically, and there's something we were trying to also to say that we also will want to encourage people, if you need help with getting your unique clothes you want to wear, the board had agreed that we can help you, to fund it to a certain limit, because we have a budget for costumes. And for events like this, for us to keep having color and having variety, we have to keep, you understand, encouraging people to bring their costume. Because if we say we had, like, Calabari costume was a very, very expensive costume, I must say that it was a very, but it's the uniqueness of the event is bringing such costumes on. You understand, something that people could have a conversation around, so we don't know what it is. Like, as at this morning, I was talking with Ray Watkins. Ray Watkins has said he wanted to be one of those wearing the fashion clothes.
Yeah, he said it
For
last time.
example, he said, oh yeah, you remember he said so.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I got him the Rivers senator attire. The up and down, to have the senator up and down attire, it's 120,000 naira. Only that attire, the up and the thing was stored.
That's almost $300.
I'm telling you, just that one alone. But it's the uniqueness, it's the variety, you understand? So it's just to a certain limit that we'll be able to say maybe something below $100 to say, you know what, and see how many people are coming up. Because if we don't have so many people coming up, it becomes a problem. So those are the things that we're going to start hammering on the group. If you want to showcase, if you want your children to be on this thing, we'll tell people, please start early. We want these things to come in early so that we're sure, because the fashion thing is always something that almost gives me high blood pressure.
So what's the budget, Helen, for fashion?
I'm looking at least for one clothes, depends on how much the person is coming up, at least within $100 for one. I don't know if that's too much. It depends on how, for a male or female. Sometimes you have male, you have female kind of clothing.
Yeah, I think 100 is too low for some outfits. Like you just mentioned, the other one is 120 thousand naira. So what can you get for $100, right? So
yeah. I think let's see how many people come up to say this is what we want. Then
and people might have outfits already too. They can probably borrow us to use.
Yeah, I think we should also, what we normally ask for costumes as well, just to also ask people what they have. Because, and I know you mentioned this several times, Helen, about us, letting people know, which we also announced at the last Taste of Africa, that we have outfits if you want to rent or for a showcase. Because after a while, storage and maintenance would also be an issue.
Yeah.
So thinking as beautiful as it is, and those are the things that make the pictures beautiful, they make the events beautiful, all the colors, and it's a big part of the event. But yeah, so as much as we can, get people's outfits, the ones that they have, which they may be comfortable in, and then to supplement the more unique, less common outfits, we can now focus on purchasing those ones.
Yes, exactly.
I would like to revisit the food part. Sorry, I know I like food, but I would like to revisit the food. Because last year we did offer some individuals some grocery funds, right? For that. I take it we're looking at doing the same this year.
Yes.
And so if we can maybe find some individuals who are willing to make some specific dishes, whether it's vegetarian or they can do the meat, as we talked about different meats, that we just give them the cash for that. But I was just curious on the budgets. What are we looking at for that, for food?
Yeah, so we'll also be asking for caterers, right? To have a caterer that makes this kind of food, to say, if you want to make a food sample for, say, 400 people, how will this be? And they will find out what's the size of this food. So that's something that is part of the process that we're going to be asking people. For instance, now, like something called the moi moi, or the Cameroonian call it cocky beans. A big cocky beans, we could get somebody to sell it for like $1.20. And that big cocky, you can cut it into 4 places because it's already big. It's almost like the size of my hand. You understand? So it's something that we're going to sit down and begin to cost to say, what are the quantities of this food? You know?
Yeah, and I think if it's caterers, one of the issues I noticed last year, there were a number of caterers who volunteered to provide food, but when I went, for example, to pick up the food, they didn't make enough food as they had promised. So I think instead of accepting some volunteered food, we're probably better off just buying the food. At least then there's commitment on their end to deliver the service rather than relying on volunteer staff, because we were disappointed a couple of times last year.
Yes, you're very, very correct. And I don't think we'll be going through that route again of getting people donate food. We'll rather buy the food, you know, and we'll start searching for, because there's some types of food that are missing, like the North African food, the East African food. You understand? Some of those foods are missing in our area of food. The North African, East African food. I don't know the South African food, what's predominant. We want to be able to get those things and pay a restaurant to say, if you make this food, we want this quantity, not just you donating food. We want to pay for the quantity of food you're making so that you get what we want, not just anything. Yes, we're going to be doing that. We're going to rather be paying instead of asking for donations from them.
Okay, so I also wanted to say, from last year, I think I wasn't there because I was at the studio. They brought the food home. My husband went and picked up. I know there were so many, and I know that's part of the fun and the beauty. There were so many different, I don't know, whether up to like 13 or something.
18.
Different kinds of food. So I'm wondering, now that we're going this route, which definitely will be more expensive, more professional because we're buying, right? But it will be more expensive. I think we can maybe put a limit on the number of foods that we want to put on this day, maybe like 10, you know, so it will be quality over quantity. And you know, just you know, put a number, maybe like, I think 10 is a lot for sure, and it's sufficient, I think, to have, you know. So for a taste, right, you just want to taste, oh, okay, I like this, and then by the time you go 10 in 10 bits, that's good.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that, and just to follow what Abby line of thought is, and when Ellen, when you talked about North Africa and South Africa and all that, I think since we're going this route, maybe what we want to do is to say we divide all the components, like divide Africa and the Caribbeans, and let something come from each of them, both for the clothes, because the North Africans have their own clothes too, right?
Yeah.
So maybe since so that way we'll have a representation, a big representation, and at the same time we won't have too many things.
Yeah.
So, I'm just following, adding to what Abby is saying in terms of having not having a lot. We have even tried to be consistent, to bring new things every time. It's not easy. It's not easy to bring new things.
Exactly. So if we do 18 every year, before you know
it's too much. We are very, very correct. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah, you are very, very correct. So we will be, the thing is that sometimes we are waiting for people to respond from the countries, and at the end of the day, we definitely have to have a backup to say, you know what, if people don't talk quickly and we'll have a puff chin chin and meat pie on standby to add to the thing, you understand? But we'll be calling people that if you're not a North of Africa, East Africa, South Africa, the different parts of the Caribbean, because the Caribbean, there are lots of countries and the uniqueness. We want to have those cultures and clothes from those cultures. So that's what we'll be telling our people and say, you know, we want to see your clothes, you know, because we are helping to tell St. Albert residents about this, your clothes and your culture. At the same time, we want to preserve it for your children to make sure they are proud of this clothes that they brought from their heritage, you know. So yes, we are going to get that going and get people to talk and say, we're on this thing, we need to be on, and we're going to help you in terms of funding. Yes, 10, if we can do 10 good ones, you know, 10 good ones. And I found out that chin chin, puff puff, and meat pie is something it's although with different names with different countries, they all have it. The Caribbean have something they call the puff puff is what they call like festival. And I think instead of us doing puff puff, we'd rather do festival.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You
that's
can't have that without puff puff, Helen.
Sorry?
I said you can't. You can't leave puff puff. We like puff puff.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
I'm just kidding.
I know. Even I have my kids school. They talk so much about puff puff. I think we always have puff puff then. There are certain things that should always be there, no problem. So we'll discuss this in the different groups and ask people to join so that we go to the next thing. Is 7:58. I wanted to make sure that this meeting ends very fast. So we want to give KB an opportunity to tell us what beautiful idea he has. Please take it on from here, KB.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good evening, greetings, and as well, I'm one of the new adopted members in St. Albert here. What a wonderful job you're doing in the community, and you don't exactly know, probably, you may not understand how great your work is and what it means. You are putting a stamp and a representation and a signature for the future. This is not only now, you're putting, that's history being made now. It will be like our grandkids, they will be going back to 2020 when COVID hit. There were Black people in St. Albert's who did this. So there is more. And now I'm going to segue, as we do something, if we leave the stamp, I think quality is very important. I'm just want to recap, just suggest, not advise, sorry, to suggest a few things talking about the food. Food, a few years back, I did a program at Carleton and Ottawa University that was traveled the world around on a plate. So what we simply did was to connect the roots, the slave channels and roots and origins using the food, meaning that people who came from the West Africa, they went into the island somewhere. You notice that they cook rice and peas and beans. It's one of those things. So you can come up with a story of connecting the roots and the origins of us as Africans around the world using food. That way you can, all we simply need to do is to go on the core spices that we can bring out. Like, for example, if it's beef jerk or some spicy from West Africa in some way, and if there is something that could be connected that way you tell a story with food, not just only to taste our food is nice and tasty, trust me. I'll eat it every day. I can't, when it comes to our food, I can't fast. I have to go, like, that's one thing. So if we can come up with a way of telling a story with our food, connecting our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean or around the world where they come from based on food, and you can simply do it as well with the clothes. For example, when you're doing a fashion show, a certain material, you will notice that, for example, in Trinidad and Jamaica, they have this plaid, and you look at it, you throw it back, and you notice that it's like the kente from Ghana. So one of those things that we can connect each other when we bring fashion and food, especially for events like this. However, and also one other thing I wanted to suggest is to include the young people for this association to come up with a program where young people can volunteer and participate and get their volunteer hours for their graduation, to come up with a program where whatever they do, and to talk with the school that, okay, this is what is it that we can use our youth so that they can get their volunteer credit hours. within the association. That way they start volunteering within the association, participating, developing the association. That's another point. My last suggestion as well that I have is for families to do like donations, to do like donation hampers, like gift cards for Costco or the grocery stores, so that when it comes to events like February, all you simply do is to go into the gift cards that are donated, and people get their text receipts for those gift cards. That way, we use those gift cards to buy the meats, to buy the stuff, other than going back to the people again and start canvassing and for people to donate. Some people may want to do it once a year or at the beginning of the year. That's something I just want to throw on the desk, on the table. I didn't want to hold off the meeting by my interjection. However, the main thing that I would like to bring forth is our storytelling as Africans. I don't know if Helen, can you just make me a call so that I can share my screen with you, with everybody here? So that way, yeah, so that I can just walk through the. I won't take much of your time.
Okay.
Your time is up, KB. You had 2 minutes.
Yes, your time is almost up. So we have just one more quick item. So, but your thing is so important. So you're sharing it now. Yeah.
Yes. So this is my suggestion: African storytelling. This is one thing that is very important, and it's part of our culture, and it's also has been the way we portray and we send off information to the next generations and places. So I thought of a way we can use families. A family, say Helen's family, can dress up in traditional clothing on a Friday night and have like a storytelling, whether it's a book, you pick up Chinua Achebe's book, you read and dramatize it, and let the youth be creative. Let our young people be creative. Let them record, let them edit and put any musical on it. Can you make a TikTok videos about it? So those are we want those handles. We want to start hitting different circles. We have YouTube, we have Facebook. Let's go into TikTok. Let's get into some YouTube educational pieces. So I thought that African storytelling, what is African storytelling? It's a shared communal event where people congregate together, listening and participating in accounts and stories of past deeds and beliefs. I don't need really to explain anything about storytelling. This is my suggestion. So would like to reenact short films, 8 minutes maximum, of African storytelling. We would like to invite the members of the Africans and African descendants in St. Albert to submit short films of storytelling. The short films will be judged on creativity. Feel free to include the audio visuals, traditional attire, music, and we ask parents to work with the youth to produce these short films. And there you can work as an individual, family, friends. It can be a comedy skit, it could be a spoken word, but with good creativity. And you can use your phones and iPads to record and edit. Creativity is key. You can only use African music because we want to bring in that traditional African essence into our modern life, also to include our youth. So this is a suggestion that I have. We'll be meeting over Christmas as families. That will be time to put on your African attire at the table. Record that. It's 5-10 minutes and edit it. Share it send it through, and then we'll collect those, and also the winning video can go and be part of the storyline for the main event, which is the Taste of Africa. So that way we keep our kids as well, our young folks involved and engaged, and there's the transfer of knowledge, and also to work hand in hand as we become our own ambassadors of our cultures into our communities. So that is, in a nutshell, my idea and my suggestion.
Awesome.
Sorry. If you don't mind, I think I read about this and I did make a comment. This is an excellent idea, and this is a novel thing to bring into the system, into our Taste of Africa. I am wholly for this because I think it's interesting because sometimes I sit down with my kids and I'm telling them the story of the tortoise, which is which we talk about in Nigeria. The Ghanaians, they talk about the spider, they call it
Anansi.
Anansi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And these are all things that can resonate, and we need to sell it even to our families and then to the outside world. So I think this is excellent. And I am glad that the way you have even designed it, you've done 90% of the work. I just have some few questions. And the question I have is in terms of, okay, now you've gotten all of this and you have judged it. One, is it just the youth that we want them to tell the story, or the family with an elder telling the kids the stories and asking questions at the end? And then,
Go ahead,
please
sorry.
note my questions so you can answer all of them.
Yes, yes.
One by one. The third one and the last one is we're talking quality. Yes, there might be some people that will be able to record very well. Would we look at the possibility of, because the idea of showing the winner to the people is excellent. Even if it's in the theater, let it be 1 minute after the storyteller has said whatever he wants to say. And with due respect, I think this will be more captivating because you would be watching people talking and saying things and questions asked. Would we be looking at maybe remaking so that we have a very good quality? I know it's going to cost money, but I'm just thinking how to better to add to the idea. But bravo, you have, this is excellent. This is a very good idea. I must say that to have come up with it is ingenuity. Thank you.
That's thank you very much for your compliments. And that's the reason why I had put just a date there, which is the 31st of December, to have. I know probably people won't have that date in the one meet the deadline. However, the reason why I had put that there was for that particular reason that you asked me. You asked, what do we do if we find a good content which is poorly recorded, which we want to showcase, and then we can remake it and we can reenact it. It's 8 minutes and we can find resources to do that. So that was the reason why I put that way. If there's something that is so good that the quality is not that good, but we want it to be greater, and we can kind of move it in a stage where we can have like 5 minutes and then can edit it nicely, professionally, and then part of the program. Yes, that was actually one of my thought process. And again, everything, this is a suggestion. It's for the team. It's for whoever wants to run with it. It's this is a community project. It's not a one-man thing. I welcome any inputs, whether you want to take or subtract or add and whatever. Absolutely, that's the reason why I put it on the group, so that we come up with a better program.
No, this is good, and this is
Awesome.
going to showcase us more. This is good.
Yes, and I sorry for and something I am thinking about that. If we're gonna put a cash prize to it, and you say if the cash prize an opportunity to be showcased on the event. For instance, if a child has good spoken word,
yeah,
we give, if you know, even if you tell the child that wins it, then we're going to give you $50, and you have an opportunity of performing your spoken word on the stage. It gives a boost to the child. And
absolutely.
if the family that, you know what, they now demonstrate, because let me give you an instance. The storyteller that did the storytelling last year, we paid the person $300. This year, we reduced the time and we paid that person $150. If a family now says, you know what, we could demonstrate storytelling from Ghana, a family of 4 or 3, and they talk their stories that this happened in a long time ago in the country of this, and story. we'll give them that prize, and that will be our storytelling input in our Taste of Africa. Because I'm still trying to get the person to do the storytelling. He's coming, he's going, he's coming, he's turning around. If somebody in our community says, you know what, I can demonstrate the story, we'll give them the money. That's the cash prize. That the winner is going to be showcased.
Yep.
And so we will call it our Black History Month Talent Hunt. We'll put it on our Facebook page. We'll put it on our Instagram. We'll have a talent hunt. But we, as much as possible, we want people from our Senaba community. But if they don't show up and somebody outside that's of African descent that says, you know what, I want to join, what do? We get them on, because we want content for our event. And at the same time, we want to have our people also feel a part of this thing, a part of the story we want to do.
Yeah, for me, I think it's even more, even beyond whether, you know, giving that money, I think it's even more interesting, more exciting. The fact that it's not a professional coming to tell the story, the fact that it's something born out of creativity. I think the ideas MKB brought are really great. Just like Ogama said, because I love the fact of weaving stories around food and clothing and all of that, because it's a lot about projecting ourselves, no matter what or how. Almost every time, even in 2021, most times when they're projecting Africa, they still always go and look for those, you know, those places even we don't know exist in Africa. So at every opportunity, we need to keep bringing it forth. So I mean, I think that excitement about people presenting and just the fun of it is really great. I cannot remember anything last this year's Taste of Africa. I remember the music KB sang, I remember the spoken word, I mean a bit of it, but the story I never remember anything out of it.
Exactly.
I don't find it engaging. I don't find it, you know, so I think this one might be a very good substitute. Yeah, if we do, I think it will be
Exactly. Yes, exactly. I find it the same thing. I don't even know what that story it's all about. I've never heard it.
Yeah, so believe me, it's one of the, and I'm sorry to say this, is one of the boring parts of that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. And I've been trying to get someone since it's almost 3 months. By the time I'm always getting the person that I've seen the kind of thing in terms of an engaging storytelling. He lost somebody in his family, he has not responded. So I understand what we want, something very engaging that people can follow the story and say, oh wow, you know. We have lots of stories. That's why when I was telling the person, said there's a lot of story in Africa that I've heard about the tortoise and this, that. So I wonder why you're not getting the story. Maybe it's because he's getting story from his own end of the or there are stories he created, because there are still stories like you understand, like
Tales by Moonlight. That research you spent.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of, I mean, by the time you even pick up South Africa, you know, there's too much stories in Africa.
Yes, exactly. Those are the stories when we are telling them that this is the kind of stories we want in our event. But it's just like they create their own, these storytellers create their own stories, which are not common stories that have been told back in Africa. They are creating new stories using actors from those past stories. They are creating their new stories, but we have old stories, like when you're talking about Chinua Achebe, things fall apart, all those kind of things, you know, that are well known enough. So we will talk about it. I think we will start drumming it to tell them that there's a competition, and after we give a little summary about this, we will make you post that thing, and we'll start drumming it that we want submission, that there's a cash prize for each of this thing, the spoken word, 2 people for spoken word, and maybe a family for storytelling.
And also, one other thing is I noticed you work with some of these restaurants who are in St. Albert. They get to know. So instead of even donating, you can talk to this restaurant. Can they make a donation for a meal for a family? So the family that wins whatever they win, they also get a ticket for a meal. That way, it's either they order in at home, well, with COVID or they have pizza supply for supper, whatever, they get that as part of a package. And that way, the association does not have to pay out money directly, but the businesses around, they can support. We go to the business and say, this is what we're doing. We would like your support. How much can you help us? If it's food, the pizza, say a pizzeria, they say, oh, we have 10 boxes of pizza. So, right, things like that. And then you can include that as part of the winning package.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. That's a lot of work. Now we have to start going around the restaurant. That's okay. But that's awesome. That's awesome. Because we're already out of time. It's 8:11. Yeah. Yes. So I think this will be our closing discussion. The other discussion we will continue on the group, which is our campaign for volunteering. And the reason why I want to do that, we keep saying it's part of our objective to get our people volunteering. Volunteer and take a picture. Volunteer and the reason is that so many people think immigrants don't volunteer. And most times they think, oh, all they volunteer, they just volunteer in their church and the mosque. We want to put our faces out there in the community that we volunteer. That is the message we want to take to everywhere. We want to put the message in St. Albert to say, St. Albert, Africa, we volunteer. So we'll increase that publicity on our group to say this Christmas, even if it's one day, go to we are registered with the Edmonton Food Bank. I'm going to check out the St. Albert Food Bank to see if they've started taking. I would ask them if families can come in and do anything, even if it's just packing, whatever you want them to pack. We're going to do that campaign to say volunteer one day and take a picture of it. Post it on your Facebook. Let people know you volunteer. It's so important. You understand? If we want to color their mind to say we are part of the community and we do things in this community beyond our Taste of Africa, we want to put it in their mind. We and our families, we are part of this community and we volunteer. So that is the last thing we're gonna talk about it more on the group. And you know, we've had very fruitful discussions now, and most of these discussions will continue on each of the groups that we have, while the board members will approve whatever amount that we're praying that by January we'll be able to have more funding from the heritage grant, you know, to help us more. But you know, we're going to succeed and we're going to do it excellently well as a team together. We're going to do very, very well. Excellence is what we already have known. They've known us twice now that, you know what, we put out excellent event, and that's so we should just keep up the excellence. You know, this event that we're doing now, by the grace of God, the word remains. It's something that we will have people rushing to sponsor it. I'm telling you, people will rush to say, you know what, we want to sponsor, we want to be on the stage. Now, politicians are rushing to be on our stage. Immediately we invite them, all of them want to come and talk on our stage. You understand? So we're believing that in future, people will be sponsoring it. And by God's grace and as an association, we'll be able to employ somebody to handle it, because it's a lot of work. I'm telling you, it's a lot of work handling this thing. Trying to get people that are going to come. And I say, if you know the call, somebody has been calling me that's going to do the youth dance, because we're planning to get the youth dance to be from Rwanda to Burundi. We want a different culture, not just, you understand? So all that, to get the inputs, you understand? We have a performance group, you understand, that we're getting inputs for all these things. So let's not get weary. Sometimes it gets tiring. Yes, I must confess, volunteering sometimes is not fun. It's stressful. Both board members and members, it gets really, really stressful and discouraging. But we say, you know what we're doing, all of us are volunteer, is for our children and the future, those that are coming before us. You know, that's why we're putting this effort for them. And we believe that this thing will grow. And one day we'll be able to get people that will work, that will pay them to do the work, and say, you know what, get our event manager, get our admin person, because I know we're all getting stressed doing these things. But I encourage us, please don't get tired, you know, of your time. Don't get tired and putting in, because we just have to build this thing for ourselves and our children. You know, so on behalf of the board and everyone, we want to say thank you for making our time from your Sunday to attend this meeting. We truly have value every one of you. We value your participation. We value your input, you know, that you do your time, your resources to this. We value, and we believe one time will come when we'll be able to see. I attended an event in the Nigerian community where they had volunteer appreciation. I believe one day we will grow to that extent where we will have this Christmas party where we'll do volunteer appreciation, everybody appreciation. We will not have to be packing food, cooking food, carrying table. We'll go to a place where they will decorate the hall, we'll pay the money, decorate the hall, we'll eat the food, and you will not think of carrying plates and things. A time will come. We are still in the building stage of our association. You understand? We're still building, and we believe so far within these 3 years we started, we've done a lot. I'm saying it, we have done a lot. And so let's just keep up. If we're doing things on social media, help us share these events, help us share, because that's the way people hear about us. If we do not share on the, like me now, I'm in all the community groups in Senaba, all the groups, Northridge, Grandin, everywhere. When we're having an event, I'm on all those groups, putting our face and our name out there. So if you're in your community group, please participate and just be a part of it. So thank you. We say God bless you. Thank you. Does anybody have anything to say? Because we're about to end. We've taken extra 23 minutes. Anybody have something to add? Anybody?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I can't wait for food. Yeah, that's my only comment.
Problem with people like you, Charles, is when you see the food, I'm sure you won't eat a lot.
I
Robert,
do.
Mr. Charles is in quarantine. They've quarantined him where he is. So
I'm sure you will eat that much. Seriously.
I know Charles on that part. He can pack. I know him.
I will pack. Yes, absolutely. I love my food.
Okay.
I'm even enjoying food here in quarantine. My friends brought me some food today, so I have lots of food.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Enjoy. You sure that all of us should not come and do quarantine?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Have a great week.
God bless you, everyone. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah.